Homage got the vibe.
What's happening, everyone? Ajma here. Now, the Infinix Hot 10 just got launched in Pakistan and a few other countries a little while ago. And I wanted to talk about this phone because, well, the Hot series is somewhat Infinix's entry-level line. So, if you want a breakdown of what entry-level entails and what it's supposed to give you, check the video in the link below. But for now, let's actually talk about the Infinix Hot 10. Now, the major highlights of this phone are a 6.78-inch TFT LCD screen, 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage base, a MediaTek Helio G70, 5200 mAh battery, and a quad camera setup. Okay, so all these specs are looking good on paper. Let's actually break down most of them to see whether it's worth the price. Because if we're going by the pricing that they gave in some other countries, I'm saying this will come in at around the 46,000 naira mark or closer to 50,000 naira. So for that money, what are you getting? Now, in the design department, I like the design, especially this purple stroke violet color that transitions to black. I'm fine with that. And with that design, it looks good and it looks promising already. Then we step into the chipset that it has, the MediaTek Helio G70, which is a somewhat decent chip. It's the chip you find on the Infinix Note 7, which is already okay. That's not a problem. And it's supposed to play PUBG very, very well. So games like PUBG, Call of Duty Mobile, it will run fine on this. That's not a problem at all. With 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage, you'll be happy, for sure. And as always, Infinix will surely keep up with their standards of always including a dedicated microSD card slot. So even if 64 gigs of internal storage isn't enough for you, you can still go up. None of these specs I've talked about are my problem. Even the battery is fine. A 5200 mAh battery, that's larger than any cell I've used before. The highest I've used is 5160 on my Humidigi F1. So I don't expect any disappointment in the battery front. Annoying that it has a micro USB port and it will charge at only 10 watts, but it's an entry-level device, so we can't really talk too much there. But my problem comes in the form of the cameras. And this is one instance of a company giving you specs and touting it to be something that it's actually not. So Infinix touts it as a quad camera system. So let's look into these quad cameras, shall we? It's a 16 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro lens, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and another camera that we don't know its function. Infinix, tell me, who uses 2 megapixel macro cameras? Who uses 2 megapixel depth sensors? What is the third camera do? You know, when I look at this spec sheet on the cameras, it makes me feel like I should just tell someone who wants to get this phone not to bother. Instead, add a little bit more money and go for something like the Redmi 9, which is around the 66,000 naira mark and is more versatile. To me, it feels like that is more worth your money when we talk about the cameras. Even when we talk about performance, the Redmi 9 outperforms this. But maybe I'm just being paranoid. Now, I expect shots from the 16 megapixel main camera to be decent. I do not expect anything from the other cameras because they will be trash. So bottom line for this phone is, if you're someone who wants a phone that you can just use to make calls from time to time, maybe some light gaming, go ahead with this phone. You'll be 100% happy with it. If you want to use it for some light gaming, like I said before, go with it. If you want to go into competitive gameplay, I wouldn't really recommend this, but it's still okay. You will still get by. If you're a photographer, no, don't go for this. First of all, it's not a versatile camera system. Two, it's an entry level device. So photos from this will not be very, very high grade. As much as we know that when it comes to cameras on smartphones, it's more about the software than it is about the hardware. This is an entry level device, so don't expect the flagship grade processing that you get on something like the Infinix Zero 8 in this phone. So, the Infinix Hot 10, should you get it or not? It really depends on you. Let me know in the comments below if you're actually going to get this phone. Well, that's been it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.
Homage got the vibe, got the vibe, got the vibe, got the vibe.